either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Welcome to the One More for the Good Guys podcast, where good guys gather to shed light on the good life, the people, and the good things that make it that way. I'm Mike McGill with my co-host, Jamie Akins. Now, raise your glass, lend us your ear, and let's have one more for the good guys. Now, sorry, don't cut it when it's every other... Hey, everybody, McGill Billy here.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome back to One More for the Good Guys podcast, where we talk about the the good life, the good folks, and the things that make it that way.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Very close. Very close.
Oh, well,
I might have missed an article here or there, but that was pretty good. Pretty good.
Know, everybody likes to know it all.
That's true.
That being said, thanks for all the support you've given us throughout the time that we've been doing this.
The years now.
Yes, the
years now. Yeah.
Also coming to check out what we're going to talk about today and what we're going to say and review. But big shout out and thank you for all the social media love. You guys are killing it, and it shows each and every week. I know we say this each and every week, but really mean it. A like, a subscribe to know what's coming, a follow on social media. All of that is a 100% free way to help the channel, and it truly does help the channel.
Yep. And our blood pressure.
Yes. So everybody on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and what else we got? the YouTubes, and I guess soon to be Rumble. We're going to talk to you a little. We'll cut a little special thing talk about that, but
a Rumble promo, if you will.
Yeah, let's get ready to rumble. So, but anyway, all that being said, we could go on and on, but thank you. So
what are we smoking today?
Are you asking me, or are you ready?
Well, either way, you go first.
I am smoking the Cavalier Geneve White Series. Pretty cool looking cigar, Habano wrapper, Ecuadorian Connecticut binder. Construction was a little sloppy on it. Had a kind of a weird thing going on with the cap. I'm not sure. I mean, they say you can smoke that gold. That's actual gold leaf. I don't know. It makes me nervous.
Well, if you can't smoke it, it is in a very inopportune place.
You know, it really is.
I mean,
yeah.
Other than putting it here on your actual mouth.
I got it. Let's put a razor blade right there, or a firecracker, or an attack tiger. Yeah, any rate. Habano wrapper, Ecuadorian Connecticut binder. Fillers are disclosed. This is the Cavalier Geneve White Series in Toro. A box of 25 or 20, I believe. That's right. Around $230.
Would have been 200 without the gold, probably.
Yeah, that is a a random internet MSRP. So we know two guys, we know a couple of good guys that can beat that. But
we may not carry this one.
We may not. This is part of what we're going to carry, or what we're not, what we will or what we won't carry, to try them live right in front of you guys. So origin of is Honduras. So I'm anxious to see what it's like. Pretty good little stick. I just don't know. Again, I'm not certain about gold.
It's early. It's early.
Yeah.
I am smoking one out of your humidor, of the honky tonk humidor of We Should Try These.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a better name later. This is the Banker by H. Upman. And I'm not exactly sure that they have a new one now called the Banker, the Day Trader, but this is the older version. Before I looked it up to see what it was, I cut it and took a cold draw, told Mike that it was very old school. It tasted like something my granddaddy was smoked in a good way. Just it was cigar-y. It was earthy and it wasn't sweet or anything. Anyway, cut it, lit it. Really, really good so far. And it's an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Dominican binder and filler. And this is a Toro. The box of these is about, I think I said MSRP is like $227. Yeah. So far, unlike yours, this has been a really good experience. This is something I would smoke for sure.
This one's okay. I'm caught up with the visual. The construction's not that great on this one. I've had that cigar before. They've made that cigar for a long time. That cigar is actually made by Altadis or Altadis, however you pronounce that. Sorry, Raphael, for getting that wrong. If I did, but
we spent a lot of money with you. If that's any consolation.
Surely you won't hold it. You won't take it personally because we have spent some money. Same folks that make the New World Monte Cristo stuff. The same folks that make Romeo Julieta and the non-Cubans. But that stick in particular was named the Banker, and that was a nod to Herman Dietrich Upman, who was the founder of H. Upman and was a banker by trade.
Helps if you're a banker to start another business.
So there you go.
So what happened is he just loaned himself the money.
Yeah, born in 1816, died in 1894. And
now think about that, 1816, 1894. Just to do the math, okay? 80, 16, so that's
carry the one.
78.
Not
right?
It's not.
Is that right? Yeah. 78 years old then is old.
That's,
and
that's like being 200 now.
Yeah. Do you think old H. Upman was partaking of his product?
I guarantee
every day.
I guarantee you.
So that's something to think about, man. Anyway. We'll get into the health benefits.
He was a banker, a merchant, and a cigar manufacturer in Cuba, creator of the H. Upman 1844 brand. At 23 years old, he embarked for the New World, and in 1839 to work for an import-export company, the Gravenhorst and Company. So pretty cool. I'd had it before. They did a rebranding on that with
this.
That's why I didn't recognize with rebranding as far as like the new label and stuff.
Oh, okay.
The one I had was many years ago and had a different type of label.
All right, so this has been around a while.
Yeah, the Day Trader was actually going to be called, I think it was actually going to be, I think it was going to have something to do with crypto. And then all that. While they were in the Cigar Authority has a good one of the guys that works there, Dan Davis, was an Altadis employee, and when they were at the stage where they were getting ready to put labels on it, crypto crapped out, and they had to come up with a whole new thing about what the name of it was going to be, and the band and the backstory, the whole shooting match.
What is it now, they say? Or
it's called the Day Trader now.
Okay.
But before it was something crypto based. I just can't remember right off the top of my head what it was actually. It may have just been crypto. I can't remember. But any rate.
And now crypto's back, I guess, right?
Are they? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh, it's over my head. I'm not. I guess I could learn about it, but I don't really care. So
there's more new and new. There's more and more new cigars coming out in the last 10 years or so than ever, right? And you get. Just like this is not a big company, I don't imagine. I would say Cavalier is still probably considered boutique. However, what Jamie's smoking with H. Upman, Romeo Julieta, and Monte Cristo, those are all legacy brands. And a lot of times the legacy brands will get overlooked by us, the consumer, because we think, A, it was grandpa's stick, B, it's not the same, it's not the newest. But they've been making these sumbitches for a long time for a reason, because they are still good and people know they are consistent. And you know exactly what you're getting each time with a lot of these legacy brands. So don't sleep on them, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, man.
To this day, the Bully size in the 1875 in the Romeo is a wonderful cigar. H. Upman, Jamie, you like the extra añejo in the H. Upman also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like, there's a certain one that has a turquoise and gold band that AJ Fernandez made for H. Upman, and that's one of my all-time favorites. I mean, every time I find a really good sale on those, I'll buy
and that is such
a box or two if I need them or not.
It's a beautiful label too. It just that's a classic looking stick. Man.
Don't sleep on those. The Reserva Real and the Churchill and the blue with the blue and the gold label, the Nicaraguan. That's a great medium, straight up medium body Nicaraguan Puro.
Oh yeah,
which is unusual.
Listen, they've been making
unusual for Romeo, especially because there's a lot of Dominican stuff, but they've been making them a long time for a reason.
Exactly. And the cigars, listen, cigars that were good 100 years ago were still good. Mm-hmm. Palates change and adjust, but everybody still likes vanilla ice cream, and it's been around since ice cream, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I did the same thing.
This thing's got a lot of flavor.
Does it?
Now, yeah.
Good. Now, wait till you get into the gold. You're going to be on cloud 90. Okay, so today's topic is the women's NCAA basketball tournament is coming up. This will air right about the time the tournament selection starts, which will be after the SEC tournament. And we wanted to start doing some little videos, little podcasts about pertinent current events on top of what we already do.
Yeah, absolutely. And we started out with such a wide scope of things to talk about, and then we kind of filtered it down a little bit, and we kind of channeled things a little bit. And this is just a part of trying some more new stuff. And when we first got together, even way back before we ever did the podcast, current event stuff about things that we liked, whether it be sports, whether it be basketball, football, baseball related, men's sports, women's sports, music, wrestling, racing, all this different kind of stuff. Or cigars. This is the stuff we would talk about. And that's kind of why we always said, it may be a little bit broad, but this is an effort to keep up with some current event stuff, the things that are happening in time, and getting stuff out on time as they start or as they're going on. So if you enjoy this by the end of this episode, please leave us some feedback of whether or not we need to continue this. So we're always going to be trying to do some new stuff, but I think this is going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. And we decided on a kind of a format for this, right? So we're going to be having a little friendly competition here.
I don't know how friendly it's going to be.
This is his idea. Remember that when you get beat. Don't put
that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Remember this when he gets beat.
So lying, cheating, flammery, and bamboozlement has already started. So I'm already at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So we're each, when we do a topic like this, one of us is going to
little Jimmy Lipper.
Jimmy L. Jimmy L.
Jimmy Lipper.
we're going to be asking each other a series of questions that we come up with and don't share because we're trying to beat each other here. So, and the topic this week is the women's NCAA tournament. And I've come up with 7 questions. We're going to do 7 questions because everybody else does 10 or 5 or.
Yeah. And they're going to be questions that have definitive answers, either true or false, yes or no.
Right. There's
something that's proven. This is not opinion-based.
This is not opinion-based or philosophical. These are fact-based questions.
Definitely not
Definitely not
philosophical. But I can't wait to see how I'm going to get screwed in this. I guarantee you it'll be some. You got the answers?
Like to go into town and talk philosophy.
Answers on there.
That from Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 1. I'll be scoring you here with a X. Question number 1. The women's NCAA tournament began in 1982, and the Tennessee Vols were the first women's winner. True or false?
False.
That is correct.
Yes.
Correct. You've been studying.
It was the Louisiana Tech.
That's right. La Tech.
Raging Cajuns.
La Tech.
And they played, I think, an HCB, or is it HBC?
School.
Yeah, school. I think that's right. Any rate.
Yeah.
HCB, HBC was a school that was primarily only for educating black students. And they were like a 16 seed and made it to the finals to play La Tech. I believe that's right. Carry on.
Question number 2, true or false? There has never been a women's Final Four with at least one number 1 seed in the Final Four. True.
Now, okay, ask me that again now.
True. It's true or false. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
My statement is there has never been a women's Final Four that did not have at least one number 1 seed in it.
That is also true.
That is true.
Yeah. Of course it is. I said it was. This fucking guy.
Number 3.
Who do you think you're dealing with? Mikey the Momo?
You know what? This
here?
was the thing. I really, this was a hard topic to do. To come up with true and false questions.
I was surprised you wanted to make the questions because we were talking about it. It was like, well, now, do you want me to question you or do you want to question me? And he was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it kind of surprised me.
We'll let you play.
I was glad, actually.
It's a hard topic to do true and false questions. So we might have to do a multiple choice on some of them. Would that be
as long as we have a
definitive
answer that it's not like, what color was the shade of blue on the court in Indianapolis?
Or did we go to the moon?
Yeah. All that bullshit.
Question number 3, true or false?
Number 3.
Candace Parker is the all-time leading scorer in Tennessee Lady Vols history. True or false?
See, that seems like an easy, but it also seems like an easy one to really get wrong because there's been so many good players.
I mean, yeah.
She's certainly out of the greats. She's one of them and probably up there in the upper echelon of greats that came out of the University of Tennessee for the Lady Vols. But I am not 100% on this. Oh. Because you had Holtzclaw, you had Catchings, you had, what was the other? It was, what's her face? I am going to say that's false.
It's correct. It is false.
Yeah.
Would you like to take a guess as to who is the leading all-time scorer in Tennessee?
It wasn't either one that I mentioned, was it?
It's not the question.
Well, you just asked me when I'd like to take a guess, and
it's Holtzclaw.
Should I take a guess because I'm getting an extra chance at a point?
No, I was just playing.
Well, don't be such a smart ass.
Smart ass. I have to be who I am.
I think there's no denying that. That's for sure. I was thinking it was Holtzclaw.
It is. And come to find out, She also played the most games here too, so that those add up. Okay, number 4.
One of the best times too.
Yeah, they won 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. Number 4, true or false? The Lady Vols have appeared in every NCAA tournament since inception except for one in 2021.
So just making the dance. First of all, I don't even know if they. I'm gonna say that's. Repeat the question. Just make sure I'm getting it.
True or false? The Lady Vols have appeared in every NCAA tournament since inception except for one, 2021. They didn't have one in 20.
Yeah,
right.
That's false.
That is false. But do you know why it is false?
Because they didn't make it.
Because the Lady Vols have appeared.
They sucked.
The Lady Vols have appeared in every NCAA tournament without fail. They're the only team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's correct.
So it was false because you put it out there. It's false.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
Trying to be tricksy, but it's not working.
No, that's okay.
Not working. Next time. Number 5, true or false? Knoxville has played host to the women's Final Four a record number 3 times.
Oh, wow. Have the Final Four? Have we even done it once? Would be my question. I mean, probably so, considering since the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is here.
Well, I mean, Pat Summitt
created.
I mean, she invented.
She's right there on the wall. You know,
I mean, she is. If Gina Auriemma says you are women's basketball, then you probably are.
Yeah, I tell you, one day we need to do a video of all the volunteer and the different stuff we
be got. Like we're in 3D.
Yeah, it'll be over. We'll put it on Twitter for Tommy and Johnny to talk about. Okay, read me that 4 times.
No,
3 times.
At times.
Man, I'm gonna say that's not an answer, is it?
No.
I want to say false.
It is false. We've only hosted it once.
I was thinking,
and we did not win.
Yeah,
Stanford won with a girl from Oak Ridge. Golly, what's her name? You know what I'm talking about. Not Sue Bird, but she reminds me of Sue Bird. It's that one.
I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But
Jennifer Azzi, that's it.
Yeah, Azzi. But these are still these aren't like, I don't think these are layup questions.
No, they're not. They're not. Maybe we just need to.
But I mean,
I mean,
pretty damn smart.
Yeah. Well, it's number 6, true or false?
Number 6.
Despite their success, no Connecticut or Tennessee player is in the top 10 all time in career points, rebounds, steals, blocks, or assists.
And
despite there is no Connecticut or Tennessee player in the top 10 in any of these categories.
In tournament?
No.
For tournament?
No. All time. All time history.
Wow.
Here's the question again. Is this true or false? Connecticut or Tennessee, either one.
Yeah.
They don't have a single player that's in the top 10 in points, rebounds, steals, blocks, or assists.
Man, that's got to be false, but it's also got to be like, that's low for your standards, the way you've done that. Because you're really
says the person that's 5 for 5.
Because you're really trying to, man, that's got to be false. between all the players that came, I mean, what, 20 national championships between the two schools?
Yeah.
Or close to?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, surely that's got to be false.
Okay. It is not. It is true.
Wow.
Tennessee.
See, I knew.
And here's the thing. Those are the only categories I went through. I don't think they have a top 10 player in any category.
Wow.
In total. That's a cumulative thing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe percentage shot or something. Yes. But I thought that was crazy.
That's just it. Well, I almost said true because it's one of those, it's definitely one of those type of trivia questions that is, it's a trap.
Oh yeah.
From the,
it's almost like I made all that up, right?
There's no way.
Number 7, true or false? The Lady Vols won their first title in 1987 and their last in 2012 for a total of 7 championships, good for second overall to Connecticut's 11. Is that true or false?
That is false.
Okay.
Because we have more than 7 national championships.
How many do we have?
8.
That's correct.
That's good though.
Yeah, 6.
That's good.
I tried to twist it, but but you're right.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I see what you
Jimmy.
did. And what's crazy is that because we were talking NASCAR
really good,
the other day, is that the date we were talking Daytona 500, and then I started looking at championships because I thought for sure, I've been out of it so long, but I thought for sure that Jimmy Johnson had approached the other two in championships, right? Petty
a number of championships.
Yeah, and Petty and Earnhardt have 7 apiece, and then we had 7 for a long time championships, and then it's like I get them mixed up. That's what I'm saying.
How many did Johnson have? Did he not have?
I think he has
7?
4. He's got 4.
Really? I would have thought he would have had more.
Seemed like he won everything he touched there for a long.
Every time he turned on the TV, it was
Jimmy Johnson.
And not the one that is that used to be Peppermint Patty's stunt double that used to coach the Cowgirls. At any rate, sorry about that.
He does. He really does.
Oh, can't stand that prick. I actually kind of like him a little bit because he.
Oh, he does. I'm wrong. He is tied. So it is 7.
Okay.
But my point is I get 7 in the Lady Vols Championships pick, so he is tied.
Yeah.
So that must make sense. But I thought.
Yeah.
But the 8, if I hadn't researched, I might have missed that. I might have thought 7 as well. But makes sense.
Yeah. No, I knew we had 8.
Well, let's let's talk. We got a lot of basketball.
That's,
that's a good start. I mean, it's a little bit. No, I mean,
it's a little better than good start.
No, I don't mean I thought you'd get half of them right. That's a great start on your part. But I mean, it's a format worked.
Yeah,
like it. So
yeah.
Anyway, we like to talk out loud. So the NCAA, I've watched quite a bit of women's basketball this year, and
I have not.
And I never do that.
Bits and pieces, but I haven't watched not near as much as you. Sorry, go ahead.
And the only reason I watched the last couple of years was Caitlin Clark, of course, and I just wanted to see, history. That's something important. I wanted to see what was happening. I enjoyed watching her, and then in turn enjoyed watching some of the other teams and whatever else. But I got to see the Lady Vols play game 1 on TV somehow. We were just there. And man, this is night and day, this team over last year's team.
This is, I don't think, this is the genie in the bottle. This is, hey, I found this old pocket knife. I don't know if it's worth anything. And it's like a 1950 case double X, double black Kung Fu chopper.
You talking about the coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it was, obviously it just came out of, Danny White had, confidence in it to replace.
Hey, so far, Danny White's hit 3 home runs in a row.
For sure.
Okay. On that deal.
But replacing, I always call her the wrong name.
It's Kelly Harper.
Harper. I always want to call her the
Jolly.
Yeah, I
her name when
Jolly.
She played. I mean, that's
Yeah, same person, but I'm trying to be accurate. But yeah,
and I didn't.
I didn't think she did.
She didn't
a bad job.
She did fine. She did fine. I mean you're walking in the biggest shadow in sports.
Oh my goodness! And being an alum and being a hero of how many games? Running the point. I mean, could you imagine trying to be a point guard for somebody like Pat Summitt or Gino or
Don Staley,
Bob Knight? Old school, tough. Tough coach. Well,
Vivian
Rick
Stringer, Rick Barnes. Yeah. Well, you see what it's like.
Yeah.
Oh no, Harper. She's going to be doing well.
Deal, but
seeing her on TV, she was calling the halftime at the Lady Vols game.
Well, you know what? I don't mean this to sound as shallow, but she's got the looks. She's got the smarts. She can
got a very good voice.
She's got a good voice. She speaks well. I mean, she's got everything that could be to
be very
have
successful.
A very successful broadcasting career. I mean, those
absolutely.
Are all the things, whether you're a man and or a woman going into that, they're not going to get, who was the last, ugly offensive lineman you ever heard call football? Probably Dan Deerdorf, or Bumgarner, or not Tony, Bumgarner, but
the dude from the Ravens.
But he made up. He had so much moxie.
Personality.
He had so much moxie and personality.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I did not catch that game. I wish I would have, because I always enjoyed her press conferences because she was well spoken and she wasn't just handing out the regular. The regular press conference.
Well, I mean,
stuff.
she came up under Pat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and to be clear,
I hope she does.
I hope she does too. She wasn't calling the game at halftime when they cut to the studio. She was in studio talking about the game.
Okay, good.
So,
I think she
did great. I was like, oh, that's Kelly. I did what you did. Ollie Harper. And, but I tell you what, man, if the Lady Vols back on this year's team, if they win the SEC tournament, which could happen.
Yeah, for sure.
South Carolina barely beat us, right? It was close. It wasn't barely 7 or 8 points, but it was a good game.
Well,
we beat Connecticut.
Barely beat us until, it was free throw time.
Yeah, we beat Connecticut, right? So, who I think right now is the best team in the country. I think. So, anyway, if they win the SEC tournament, she's Coach Caldwell's SEC Coach of the Year.
Watch. I think she's Coach of the Year if they win the SEC tournament. It's a shoe in.
Gotta be.
It's got to be a shoe in. Who else would be Coach of the Year? I mean, obviously you could go with Staley if they win it again. I mean, because of. But that's not,
because
how do you choose the Coach of the Year? Is it like a lot of other awards where you choose? Is it more of a, obviously everything is better when there's a good story behind it, as far as awards or rankings or
bringing the Lady Vols back to prominence.
Selling the cigar, anything. Everything's better with a good story. Because it creates interest. So how many more?
Well,
you can't give something to old Prune Face down there at LSU.
Well, I mean,
I don't think she's going to get it.
She's not going to get it, but it will be an SEC coach most likely. I just think she's done such a good job. First of all, she comes in here to the most storied program in history. Now, I understand that Connecticut's the winningest, but Tennessee put Connecticut on the map, not the other way around, as far as legacy went. I don't give a shit what I'll tell Gino to his face. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, is Gino the greatest coach ever? Probably. But either way. So,
statistics say so.
Yeah. He's opens his mouth sometimes when he shouldn't. But anyway, she turned the most storied program in the history of the sport around, put them back in contention, back on the map, beat probably who is the number one team in the land here for the first time in 18 years.
Yeah.
Hey, SEC Coach of the Year.
I mean.
And she did it pregnant half the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, I ain't been pregnant. I've looked like it for 25 years.
That might give her a run for money. I don't think anybody's seen Kentucky being as good as they are.
No, well, that's true. I'm
just looking at the standings now to be like,
yeah,
I don't think
SEC's tough. More just like the men.
I don't think Staley gets it. I don't think Panther Face down there at LSU gets it. Texas 13-1, but the story with Caldwell, that's a really good story, and
especially since
you just put on it.
Since she could say that she was Coach of the Year in 2 conferences in back-to-back years.
Yeah,
what, she Coach of the Year in the other conference?
Yeah. I mean, did we have any clue they were going to be 21-6 right now? Mm-mm. You know what I mean? So that's a pretty good story in itself. But if they win the tournament,
they didn't lay down all year either.
No,
the men
losses.
The men loss to Florida was the.
Well, we had 4 games with the men that were decided with 6 points or 7 points or less.
Women's had that
total.
Yep, women's had that happen too.
Women's had that happen as well.
Broke the record for most 3-pointers in a game this year.
Yeah.
Broke the record for most points by an SEC team in a game this year. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, you're in the right direction. You're pointed in the right direction to get to change at the very least.
I can imagine that coaches, the AD, boosters, staff, fans. I can't imagine it's not a resounding difference in positivity versus any kind of negativity of their record and what she's done and how she's handled herself this year for sure.
I mean, you've had 2 legendary, and I'm talking about, when I say legendary, I'm talking about Mount Rushmore coaches at our university. Pat Head Summit.
Yeah.
And General Nealon. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The 20th century.
Not just coaching, but the contributions to the game itself as well.
The 20th century team put together, I believe it was either Sporting News or ESPN, somebody like that. They had 2 coaches. They had an offensive coach, head coach, and a defensive head coach. And who do you think those 2 coaches were?
For
the all SEC, back on football for just a second.
Oh, okay.
Talking about legends. It was Nealon and Bear Bryant. Those were the 2 coaches in the 20th century team.
Be a no-brainer.
Right? So you got 2 legends. How long, I wonder, because we weren't alive at this time, how long did it take Coach the Tennessee football program to walk out of the shadow of General Nealon? A long-ass time, I can tell you that right now. And Pat quit coaching 12 years ago, or I'm sorry, in 2012, so 13 years ago-ish. And, hey, man, we're back on the map.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, I got the opportunity, my good buddy Sam Kinsey, shout out to Sam. Happy belated birthday, yo shit. He called me up the other day, and I actually got to go see a baseball game with the Vols. And on our walk from the parking lot to the stadium, we were just talking about the very same thing. Sam was in school in 96 through 2000. So really good. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good time to be a student at the university.
That's right.
But I would dare say these last, what, 5 years? Not 5. We'll say the last 4. And certainly this year being at the top, I would say as far as the athletic program in all facets of the athletic program, it is the best in history ever.
And not only
school history ever.
Maybe here. In history ever. The success that we've had in the last, let's say, 5-year block, right, is almost unprecedented, I guess. But definitely in the history of our university, it's not even close. I mean, that, like Sam said, that was our era, and that was Rocky Top. That was Peyton Manning, national title. Women win the national titles. Softball team's pretty good. I mean, it was a great time. Basketball team stunk. Yeah, the men's. Basketball. As a whole. Yeah. Baseball had some life, but it wasn't. Well, they made the tournament a couple times. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It had some life. I guess that's how I would categorize. Put some people in the major leagues. Some life. Yeah. But I think, we've went from being we've made the transition like Sevier County and Gatlinburg has made. We've went from a 3-month-a-year seasonal place to visit to a 12-month destination. That's it. That's a perfect analogy. That's exactly what we've done. Because we're talking about, the men's program ain't even, we're not to either. Soon as football ended, we were pretty much everything, basketball oriented, and then baseballs came on, and basketball being both programs, the Lady Vols and the men, and I mean, my goodness, soccer team's great, swim team's great. Softball team's great. Volleyball's kicking ass. But have we put out that trivia question yet? I know you and I have, but on podcast wise. So here's the interesting trivia question. Only 2 universities in the history of the NCAA has had teams ranked number 1 in football, baseball, women's basketball, and softball in the Power 5 programs of a university. Only 2 universities in histories have ever had all 5 programs number 1. We've talked about this personally a lot. Yeah, and I didn't know. I don't think we've ever talked about it on the air. I'll give you the answer next week if you guys don't do your homework or whatever. But two schools. Yeah. And to hear them was pretty made a lot of sense, but it was also pretty surprising. And that's that. I'll leave it at that. So, but on the state of the program, do you some homework. I mean, when's the last time? Or I can tell you now. We are big baseball fans, obviously. We talk about it all the time. When, before the last 3 or 4 years, when football season was over and basketball season was over, you were interested in what was going on with baseball? Yeah. Never until the last 5 years. For sure. No. So, Tony, what's his name? Vitello, yeah. I wanted to say Tony V, baby. I wanted to say Basilio, but that's the guy on the radio. No, that's the guy that's got a face like a mackerel. He'll tell you that. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, and so this tournament, let's pick our Final Four. Now, we'll pick another Final Four and we'll post it when it's the tournament's out, because picking a Final Four and not knowing the divisions is virtually impossible because you don't know who's going to be, it's not possible for, say, Tennessee and Georgia to be both in the Final Four if they're in the same bracket.
I had pulled up a women's bracket of the 2025 NCAA tournament. So basically like a
projection.
Oh,
okay. Well, this will be good to go.
We can swing through that real quick.
Okay.
And then,
all right.
And then pick that if that's
kick that to me and I'll have it too, and we'll both look at it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Copy. I swear, folks, the technology on this show,
top notch.
Yeah, production value.
State of the art.
Kidding me?
State of the art.
It's over for all the rest of them. Over. Oh my goodness. They are saying, let's see. Let's get this right. Who wrote this? Who's predict? Charlie Cream.
Never heard of you.
Never heard.
All right, so let's do it by region. You want to do that?
Sure.
All right. In Region 1, the Spokane region, here are your seeds. Number 1, UCLA, 16, Tennessee Tech, 8, Creighton, 9, California. The Knoxville region is Michigan State, James Madison, Tennessee, Florida Gulf Coast, Chapel Hill, Maryland, UNLV, North Carolina, Norfolk State, and then Oklahoma State, Nebraska, LSU, and Southeast Louisiana. And that sucks that Tennessee's in LSU's bracket.
Yeah.
Don't like that. And now, if I was going to play a number 1 seed, UCLA would be the one I'd want out of that.
As soon as we definitely should fill out a bracket.
Oh, we will. Once the real bracket.
Do you guys want us to fill out one together as a good guys bracket? Something we can agree on, or should we do individual brackets?
Just do individual brackets.
I could care less, but
yeah, it'd be easier to do individuals.
Yeah, sure.
So out of this bracket,
I'm going to be right.
Yeah,
is that what you were going to say?
I guess so. Region 1, Spokane. I'm going with my heart, and I'm picking the Lady Vols to come out of that. I think if that is the bracket, it won't be exact, but that's close. I think that the Knoxville region, they're going to run through those 2 games, and then I don't think anybody there except LSU and UCLA can beat them. And I think if they come out hot, they got it.
Yeah. Region 4, Spokane is in the number 1 seed projected is Notre Dame. The 16th seed is Farley Dickinson. 8th seed Vanderbilt. 9th seed Oregon. 5th seed Baylor. And this is in Norman. Let me start over. Region 4, Spokane. This is from South Bend. The games will be played in South Bend. Notre Dame, Farley, Dixon, Vanderbilt, Oregon. The next 4 games, or next 2 games, will be played in Norman with Baylor, Grand Canyon, Oklahoma, and UTSA.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah,
Texas, San Antonio.
I would imagine. That's would be my first guess. I think that's right. Didn't we play them in football as well?
Yeah,
Wasn't that UTSA we played?
I think it was. Yeah.
In the next 2 games, you'll be from Lexington. Would be Louisville, Iowa State, and/or Washington, Kentucky, and Gonzaga. In the Los Angeles bracket or region, you would have those 2 games would be Utah, Mississippi State, USC, Hawaii. With Utah being a 7 seed, Mississippi State being 10 seed, USC being a 2 seed, and Hawaii being a 15. You got the next one?
Well, who you going to pick out of the first one we talked about? You go yet?
Oh, well, I mean, you know, yeah, I'll go with the Vols. Why not?
Okay. Well, in this region you just read,
I mean, I'll be a homer.
This region
Why
you
not?
just read is going to be, I'm telling you right now, the two coming out of that region are Notre Dame and USC for sure, unless just something catastrophic happens. I don't think any of the other teams can even play it in the same gym with them. Tennessee beat Oklahoma handily. And they're the 4 seed. So anyway, I do believe this. I do believe probably the second best player in the country is at USC. And I think USC comes out of that region.
Well, I'll definitely defer this to you because I haven't watched enough.
Okay. Well,
I haven't watched enough to really actually make an educated opinion.
That's if I were a betting man, that'd be it. All right. Region 2, Birmingham. The Austin.
The other butthole of the world.
Yeah. The Austin bracket is Texas, number 1. They got Texas Southern or North Carolina A&T at 16 seed. They got Georgia Tech and Indiana. In the Columbus region, they've got Ohio State's the top seed in that region. That's why it's in Columbus. They got Alabama, Fairfield, and Missouri State. Boy, Alabama's pretty good. Fort Worth, you've got, of course, the top seed there is TCU. You got Montana State, got Harvard or Virginia Tech, and you got Michigan. And then the Raleigh, which is capital city in Mayberry and Andy Griffith. North Carolina State's the number 2 seed overall. Pretty tough, too. Iowa, Richmond, and Lehigh. For me, coming out of this is going to be the up in the air bracket, in my opinion, because I don't think, even though I think Texas is number 1 overall right now, I don't think they've got the goods. So I'm picking North Carolina State out of that one.
Okay. Wolfpack.
Yep.
Wrestling throwback to the Wolfpack there for you. In Region 3, Birmingham played over in Columbia, South Kakalaki. You'll have the number 1 seed, South Carolina, number 16 seed, High Point or UNCG, number 8 seed, Illinois, and the number 9 seed, South Dakota State. In Manhattan, you will have the 5th seed, Ole Miss, 12th seed, Middle Tennessee. How about that? 3 Tennessee teams.
That's crazy.
Tennessee Tech, Middle Tennessee, and the Vols.
Yeah.
Lady Vols. 12 seed Middle Tennessee, 4 seed Kansas State, 13 seed Ball State. Over in Durham, oh my, you'll have a throwback to Durham Bulls. Number 6 seed West Virginia, 11 seed Columbia, 3rd seed Duke, and 14th seed Green Bay.
And the head coach at Duke is Carol Lawson.
Yeah, and nobody cares. And
Tennessee player.
In stores,
remember?
Yeah, but I mean, really, Duke?
Hey.
I know. Just let me finish. Stores? Where the hell stores? Stars. STORRS. Where is that? What is that?
Gotta be Connecticut. Gotta be Connecticut.
Are they playing in Lithuania? I don't understand, Big Dan. Number 7 seed Florida State, number 10 seed Minnesota, number 2 seed UConn, number 15 Albany. Obviously, I mean, as bad as I hate anybody else, I mean, UConn's really good.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you.
I mean, we said this before we started the podcast. If they'd had more than 7 players last year, they'd beat everybody's eyeballs out of their head.
Caitlin Clark beat them by 1 point.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, but this bracket, if this is indeed the bracket, South Carolina don't want no part of this bracket because Duke and UConn can beat South Carolina. But the national champion, if this is the bracket, the national champion's coming out of here for sure. I'm taking UConn all day long because they just handed South Carolina theirs by 30 plus at South Carolina. And of course, everybody knows that. But I think, and we talked about this, and maybe this is a time to make another prediction, but Diana Taurasi just retired. I think Gino, my final four out of this bracket's UConn, North Carolina State, USC, and the Lady Vols. And I think you're going to have a USC UConn final. East Coast and West Coast, and I think Connecticut takes it, and Gino retires with 12, and they hire Diana Taurasi to be the head coach. Yeah. That's my thought.
Well, that's not a bad. I mean, it's not a bad thought. It's not a bad take or call or prediction or however you want to say it. I mean, it makes. I never thought about it, and like I said before we started the podcast, we were talking as we were setting things up and getting ready, and I think it's a very strong possibility for that to happen. For sure.
If she wants to coach, I don't know a whole lot about her other than she is, in my opinion, the best female basketball player ever at this point. Now, Caitlin Clark's just into her WNBA career, but what I told you, and I don't watch the WNBA.
And she's still not the best player in the WNBA.
No, she's not. She might not be the best player on her team.
Yeah.
But anyway, Caitlin Clark can certainly do that, but Taurasi is the leading scorer of all time. She's played 20 years. I mean, I think she's the best player of all time currently. And a lot of people, anytime I like to look at lists, just like looking at cigar reviews. What do you think? Or what do they think? Mm-hmm. Every list I've ever seen since she's in the last 10 years has her number one. And surprisingly enough, there's a rating for best, because we talk about this all the time. To me, the greatest basketball player and men's basketball player of all time is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No
From
question.
start to finish. Right.
If you factor in collegiate career,
high school,
collegiate, and pro career, I can't see why anybody would ever say anything any different.
Right. But she's
certainly the best collegiate men's player of all time.
Yes.
Ever.
But I don't think there's a whole lot of people that would just argue till they died if you said, hey, Taurasi's the best college player and the best pro player of all time. And she probably is. Okay. So, but a lot of the WNBA lists have, guess who's number 2 all time? And it's not Candace Parker, because Candace Parker's like 3rd. Tamika Catchings is considered the 2nd best or 3rd best WNBA player of all time.
Good.
Yeah. Fast.
She was so good. Y'all can't see it. We'll, like I said, if we ever do a little, I guess that would be some good short content that I could do. I could do just with the phone, but show you some of the memorabilia and stuff of the different UT things that we got in here.
Yeah.
But there's looking right over there, there's a magazine that I had saved that I had flayed out for both the back cover and the front cover, and put it in a frame. And I know you're not supposed to do that, whatever. But it's Catchings on one on the back cover and Pat on the front. She was good, man. Catchings was good.
Oh yeah, and sometimes
all those girls
sometimes overshadowed by Holtzclaw. Mm-hmm. But went on to have a better WNBA career, and man, she was a hustler. She was a defensive player, and just fantastic. So
for sure.
So I think Connecticut's got it this year. I know a lot of people around here don't want to hear that, and I'm over the whole rivalry thing. Pat's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
it's still fun, because let's face it, when they beat you that many times in a row, it ain't much of a rivalry. Right.
Right.
It still may be in our minds back in that day, or
Well, back in the day, it wasn't.
hanging on to
it
the
was
past,
yeah,
as
but
some people like to mention. We won't say any names. But I think it's something that still, beating them, even if it was here, that was a big thing, not just for, fans, but that was a big statement for that young new coach. That was a big statement for the young new players. That was a big statement being underneath those banners.
And they were due, man, to win a close game. And
that was a big statement also for the brand of ball that she's coaching and they're playing over there, because it's not
very similar to the men,
and
very
not
similar
traditional
to the men.
in any sense. They're bridging the gap. So here's your question, and I know I'll save that one, because it's more about the men's sport. I'll save that one till the.
So while we're on the women's basketball,
NCAA.
If you're going to pick
for the men's tournament,
okay. If you're going to pick a starting five, and that you don't have to be by position, just the 5 best women's college basketball players, and put them on a team, who would it be for you?
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Of all time?
All time.
Holy shit.
And it doesn't have to be position specific,
okay, good.
2 forwards and guard. Some of them have played multiples too.
Well, I couldn't be that. I couldn't be accurate. If we were doing that, I'd just be like, Well, I mean, you got to have Taurasi there somewhere, right?
Definitely, Taurasi's on any. You cannot.
Is she running the point, or is she shooting?
No, you want her being Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
and
running the point. Golly, man.
God, there's so many good ones, but I tell you who was a good one, by God, was Dawn Staley. She was a great point.
She was a hustler too, a gamer. I don't think you could go wrong with that.
If you're going to do position specific, she's not on my team. I mean, if you have to pick a guard, yes, but she wouldn't be in my top 5 players. I'm just saying, who's your top 5 players?
Well, Holt's claw catchings. What's her name?
Parker.
Taurasi. And we'll just keep it old school and go Cheryl Miller.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's good list as any, but what made me think of even asking it when we talking about Connecticut and Tennessee, if somebody said, hey, put a list together, the top 5 players of all time, and they were all Connecticut and Tennessee players, you do pretty damn well. Would you not? I mean, that's what we just did.
Except for Miller.
I think the 2 best players in the era, I think Miller she's the Pat Head Summit of players.
She was the original, ahead of her time.
He was the OG.
Trailblazer. Yeah, she was the OG.
Great athlete.
When nobody
could dunk
was
in the 80s.
When nobody was paying attention to women's athletics.
No. Dad said she was dominant. Dad said she was dominant.
Yeah, she could spot it up. She could drive the lane.
I would take her.
Could dunk it.
Oh, yeah.
Rebound, defensive.
My 5 would be this 5 right here. I'd pick Cheryl Miller. I'd take Diana Taurasi. I would take Maya Moore from Connecticut.
Is that a current player?
No, she's the all-time Connecticut leading scorer.
Okay.
I would take.
She run the point.
She can run it. So I would run Taurasi. I'd only pick 2. You could pick a whole team for Connecticut. Maya Moore and her, and then I would take Parker, Holtzclaw, and Caitlin Clark. That's who I'd
Be a
take.
pretty good list.
I think that team, or your team, would score 140 points a game.
Who was I think maybe she played center.
Here?
No, for
Connecticut?
yeah.
Lobo?
Mm-hmm.
She was the 95. She was the first. She was good, and she's had a great career behind the mic, man. She's all over the place. Other great centers, I mean, you got to talk about Brittany Griner. She's the one of the few people in the top 20 scoring that also have a title. It's crazy that list is. Our top 10 scoring, whatever.
That's just nuts.
That's nuts. I mean, yeah.
I felt like that was a trick from the get-go, but I could not convince myself to not think that there was at least one.
Yeah. In any of those categories.
In any of them.
I mean, Michelle Snow and blocks, you would have thought.
In any of them.
But no, it's not even. It's crazy. It blew me away. But Maya Moore and Holtzclaw are 18, 19 on the list scoring. And they're just going to go down.
How's the kid? How's the kid from USC doing? The little point guard.
What's her name? She got a nickname.
Juju.
Yeah, that's who I think is the best player in that division. And
is she having a good year? I watched her play a lot last year too, along with Clark, and I was impressed. Obviously by both of their games.
They scored 22 points last night. So.
But I was also very impressed with the other little ponytail, the blonde that played on Connecticut last year.
Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
Paige Beckers is the best player in the country.
Oh, man, she's tough.
She's the best player in the country.
She's tough.
Period.
She's tough.
And she might have been the best player in the country last year. And no offense to Caitlin Clark, I think maybe Caitlin Clark would even agree with that. So
yeah, I think one of the good things about Clark is in no way, shape, form, fashion has she came in thinking she's Miss Thang.
Right.
You know, she's been very, very humble as far as all that goes. But those three were really big standouts to me on the national level last year. And like I say, unfortunately, I have not gotten to watch enough of it this year to really.
But the thing about it is you're interested at least enough now.
For
and
sure.
That's the good news about the sport is that people that would never, and we're not in that never category because we grew up in the shadow of the great one over here. But, you know what I'm saying is that people that would never watch that are now watching women's basketball.
Oh, my God. I mean, Caitlin Clark is the reason they're not flying coach anymore.
I think
in the NBA. Come on, Charles. Dude. They got charters. I mean, and that's a whole nother show, whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's right.
But y'all need to quit fighting long enough to enjoy the good life that's coming along.
Play the game. You're getting it played on you.
You take all those greats that we just talked about, right? Of the greatest team ever assembled, or the 5-year fantasy 5, or, you know, whatever moniker you want to put on it, or whatever name you want to give. And you think about from their time and their playing careers and where women's sports were then to where they are now, you don't think for a second that the road they had to go down and the dues they had to pay wasn't a million times more rough than what it is now, given the resurgence, or not even really a resurgence, but the eyes, the uptick, the fandom, everything that's coming to women's athletics as a whole.
Absolutely.
And professionally and collegiate levels.
We ought to do a show on that. This would be a good, honest,
it would be,
raw show. Here it is. Which sports do we like to watch the women as much as we like the men? Yeah. There's a topic. And why? Because I can tell you this, and what reminded me of that there's 3
I'm going to say the backstroke. I mean, swimming.
That you like as much?
I'm being.
Oh yeah. Well, what made me think is that golf right there.
Sexist and.
Oh, okay.
Making a joke.
Yeah, that's what I have to deal with.
I say it's kind of like a joke, son, but smaller.
So we got pictures of the Augusta National over here, and the Masters is coming up soon.
Yes.
But I love watching women play golf, man. I tell you what, their short game is better, probably. Maybe.
Sorensen, Annika Sorensen, back in the day.
Oh, yeah, man. She was.
I used to love way back. I'm dating myself, obviously.
Nancy Lopez.
Nancy Lopez was great. Who was the? I can't remember her name. She was Dottie Pepper.
Oh yeah,
was great. Who's went on to have an amazing career on the men's and the LPGA and the PGA. But she was a big gal. Man, she could hit it a ton.
Remember?
Oh, I'll think of it. But I always liked her too. She was very. She was like I don't know. She just had that. She had that attitude, and was just a real competitor, and you could tell was probably like a gamer, and maybe didn't work.
I'll tell you this: I enjoy watching this style of play in women's basketball than I do the men. Take the athleticism out of it. Forget that part. I'm talking about the pick and rolls, the playing, the concentration on fundamentals and whatever. I really enjoy that.
Well, it's go ahead.
Well, you can be, and I was thinking about this, is that you can be really, really, really good. And of course, in any league, really, with your fundamentals are absolutely sound, but especially in a basketball style where there's a lot. Now it's getting to be more of a full court offense now, but a lot of half court offense, still play the post game. I enjoy that kind of play.
It's relatable. Mm-hmm. It's familiar.
Yeah. Now they are bombing it as much as the men as far as 3-pointers go. And I wish they'd move the 3-point line out, actually.
And it's familiarity as well. Yeah. I don't know what the 3-point answer is. I think.
How about if you shoot from behind the line, the backboard moves or something? It's just, you got to time it. Make it harder.
You can have a mascot just in the stands with one of those launchable T-shirt guns. And if you take one over the limit, or if you take a stupid one, you get shot at. The opposing mascot's allowed to shoot you with a T-shirt gun. How about that? That'd be good.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're listening.
Okay. What's that? I thought another thing too. Take the corners out of it. Now you can shoot in the corner, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's take the corners out of it. Move the line back. Take the corners out and start them out here and move that line back, man. Mm-hmm. It's how long is it going to be before they're talking about moving the rim up again?
Well, until it's proven either A, that it works incessantly, or until it's proven that it's just not the right way to do it. Until the math and the analytics of all of it either make it favorable one way or the other, you're going to have those teams like the men's team for Alabama, and or the Lady Vols team's kind of like that. It's let her fly.
He broke the record for most 3 points.
And if it's behind the line, you have a better analytics say. You have a better opportunity. The trade-off is worth it. Because you can't go.
The payoff's worth the trade-off.
Yeah.
Well, especially
from what I've heard.
Especially if you're shooting 40%.
From what I've heard from others in the industry, and the way they've tried to, other reporters and stuff that have tried to talk about it, that's the mentality behind it.
Well, I get it.
And
it's exciting. People
it is. But I still think that there's an opportunity, and Purdue kind of proved it with
Edie,
with Herman Head there last year.
And the NBA's proving it all the time.
If you've got that big front court and you can post up and you can capitalize over turnovers and you can get some type of score every offensive opportunity, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, then a physical, dominant, bigger team. I just wonder why there aren't more teams willing to. They're willing to die on the 3-point hill, but not willing to die on that hill.
Yeah, well,
that don't make.
But there's a transition happening because
that doesn't make sense.
The NBA,
I don't understand.
Used to be, hey, the Steph Curry, let's throw it, let's get it, let's make the shots. Now, okay, they're not winning championships.
Fucking shoot like Steph Curry.
Well, that's right. Only him now.
Yeah.
But look who the dominant players are. Yeah. The last 4 MVPs, the last 4 are centers. The last 4. Joker last year, Embiid the year before that, Joker. And they play, especially Joker. Joker's the best player in the league, and it's really not close. I don't think. Not
just Embiid, but the Greek.
Well, he's not a center, though. He's a
goddamn 6'11" power forward that can step out.
But that plays that style, though. Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, when you got that front court like the Celtics had in 85, 86, that's what used to piss me off so bad about Tennessee. The men's team the last couple of years, not this year, but like the last couple, our smallest front court player was 6'11", 6'10",
mm-hmm.
and we couldn't put it in the hoop if one of them sumbitches was driving an armored Brinks truck with an automatic go-go Inspector Gadget arm that would dunk it. They just wasn't mean. They were not physical to go in there and just say, screw it. One of the reasons I like Parr so much this year, because he's not afraid to just take it up. And that's what you got to do. But anyway.
Back on the big man stuff, Joker is 3rd in rebounds, 2nd in assists in the league. Not on the team, league, and 3rd in points.
I've seen it. He
could have a triple double, or whatever it is when you win all the categories. When's the last time that was done? I don't even have to look it up. I can tell you the last time it was done. Will Chamberlain,
the
only center to ever lead the league in assists.
And
it was like 20.
I seen a thing the other day about. I can't remember who it was with, but I think it might have been Reggie Miller and Larry Bird. Larry Legend. But he was asked about Jokic, and he said, and he got this shit-eating grin on his face, and he goes, man, I'd like to play with him.
Bird did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we could cause some damage. And I don't think as much as like we could cause some damage as also he would have liked to play against him too. It was.
Oh yeah,
he was just like, you could tell he was that he was a player. But can you imagine? I mean, that was unheard of. Can you imagine Parrish or Walton, just sporadically pulling up and taking a 3 like that guy does, or an 18-footer, not just a 23-footer or whatever, but and we're getting off on tangent. We got to wrap it up. then get back to the women. We'll get back to the women's sport too, because that's what this is about. But in that, I think women as well. I think that was one of the reasons why the Dream Team in '92 was so important, because it truly brought the sport global.
Absolutely.
And now
you're seeing the fruits
You're
of that.
seeing the fruits of that with these 7-footers that can step back. I mean, probably Nowinski was the first, but one of the first as far as
international
building
player.
a team around them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, not just an international player, but like the face of the team as well.
Elijah Warren, maybe, but he was. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dirk played college here. Did he? I don't know. I don't think so. Played over there.
But at any rate, I do say this, and to get back on the women's athletics, I do feel as a whole, collegiate and professionally, especially the sport of basketball, which is what we're talking about with the 2025 or 24, I guess it's 25, isn't it? Women's NCAA tourney that's coming up. I think it's in a better place than it's ever been.
Yeah, I hope that it can. They need a star
overall.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. They need a star, and they need a rivalry. See, they had that, and they had a star, and then they stumbled into this rivalry with this face thing and all that. Okay. And they were like, oh man, I bet they were just.
But I think that Juju kid from USC.
I do too.
Can be.
And in a market where there's a lot of folks.
Star. I mean.
Well, I do too. But they need that. But they need a rivalry too.
Yeah.
They need something.
Well, how good is UCLA? There's a pretty good rivalry right there.
Yeah.
UCLA. That ain't had any damn life in it for
ever
30 years,
40.
Especially with the
USC
women's specific.
Oh yeah, 40 years.
So
probably
maybe that'll happen.
I hope that it can. Used to be that California and the West Coast led everything.
Yeah.
But since the movement away from those conferences into trying to get to the power conferences, I hope that USC UCLA can be a draw. I hope it still because they're both good. But I think that you need an SEC rivalry too.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
there's got to be something there.
There needs to be So anyway, Connecticut is your national champion. So I will be very surprised if that doesn't happen this year.
Yeah.
Like we're set up for a storybook ending that the sport needs.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, who's your picks? Who are you projecting? Who are you wanting to win? Who are you thinking can do it? Who will do it? Put those comments down in the comment section, as well as hit us up on the social media pages and let us know there too. If you got some show ideas or anything like that, feel free to share those, write in, call in, whatever. Do something, would you?
Yeah.
Besides watch us. Find people that's important, brag on us. No, just kidding. We still want you to watch and we still want you to listen. And we thank you for doing that. The Banker, tell me about it. What'd you think?
Well, I ran out of drink, which is always bad. It's pretty one-dimensional smoke.
Yeah.
They marked it as a fuller bodied. I would not say that for me. I would say it's a medium bodied cigar.
Yeah.
Medium finish. Strength is probably a little over a medium. It got a little bit, and they mentioned it being Cuban-ish. It got a little bit stale type. You know how it's got that little bit of a, what is that? Stale? Mildewy? You know what I'm talking about?
Kind of some funk, some mildew, some, some
some good old, and not cigar mold. That's not what we're talking about.
No,
but basically
no.
that kind of thing towards the end,
like that basement.
Yeah, that
basement, that kind of wet basement or damp.
It tastes like that. Smells
damp basement.
Yeah, that's what I think of. Which is fine, but it petered out. I mean,
which a lot of people love. I don't necessarily.
I like enjoyable flavors, really.
I don't.
That's
like
not one of them.
I think there's a few sticks that I've got and that I've smoked that I keep that has a little bit of that, and a little bit of that ain't bad. But yeah, that can happen a lot for. But again, a lot of people really love that. So final verdict. Would you get a single? Would you do a 5-pack?
I'd buy a 5-pack and let them sit for a while and
let
them age and pay more attention to it, because we were doing a lot of talking and both of us burn out. So how'd yours go?
It was pretty. It was iffy. It was spotty. The construction was a little. It wasn't very pleasing. The aesthetic.
Looks loose.
It almost looked like it was too dry, and then it looked like it was. The wrap was weird. It had a pigtail. It was supposed to have a pigtail cap, and But from that being said, from the tastes, on the palate, it had a very sweet. The Habano wrapper didn't have that big zing like a lot of Habanos, can be. It was more like a Connecticut as far as being mild. Habano's kind of a step up from that Connecticut shade leaf to get you a little more gusto, a little more pep.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can be really peppy. But this one was mild, medium at the very most. But sweet, little bit of honeysuckle, little bit of, it was fairly one-dimensional too, though.
And the gold's a gimmick.
But not bad.
Gold's a gimmick, right?
I mean,
feels like a gimmick.
It seems like it. It's like, I'm thinking it's going to come off. Like it's going to stay on the ash.
Okay.
Or something. Look at it. It's weird. It's the first one I've gotten. And I actually just joined a new Cigar of the Month club that we'll be doing we'll be giving y'all a little bit of info on. And last month, their entire selection was all Cavalier. I guess it was kind of like maybe not their whole product line, but certainly a good representation of their product line. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have smoked 3 Connecticut's, and in the past week that have absolutely blown my socks off.
Yeah, well, that matters.
And at the price point for those versus this, I would smoke another one of these, but I wouldn't be going out and spending any money trying to get one.
Yeah,
that's my opinion on this one.
Smokable, not buyable.
And it was a little, it was a little one-dimensional. It wasn't bad.
Right.
It wasn't bad. I wasn't like, ugh.
Yeah.
But
the gold little thing freaks me out a little bit. I'll have to research that and see if we're poisoning
for
ourselves.
Some reason. I don't know what I think about it either.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I am 6-1.
That's
How
right.
are we keeping score? We keeping score? What are we doing on this?
I guess so. I guess we're going to keep score.
We got any stakes on this? You want to?
I know. We come up some as we go. Right now, I make stakes very little. It's not looking good for the home team over here.
Well,
6.
You've not even got up to bat yet.
I know, but man,
you'll be all right.
Yeah, let's see what next topic is. I don't remember what it is.
I think
it's the Masters.
Anyway. Ooh, boy, I could really fuck you on that one.
Yeah, I probably we go 1 for 7, maybe 2.
Well, hey, again, we appreciate all of it. We hope you've enjoyed this 2025 NCAA women's basketball tourney coverage, and hopefully you'll be watching it as well as we will be, and we'll be having some fun coming up through March Madness on both ends, the men and the women's sports. This is a really great time of year. My old hippie neighbor who's no longer with us, this was his favorite time of year.
Got a lot. March Madness, the Masters.
Yeah,
NFL draft.
I wrote an article, and I'll see if I can't find it, and maybe I'll maybe try to do that as a short about this time of year and what all the magic and all the things, and maybe a little bit of retrospect of where I was when I wrote it, because I was in a pretty cool place geographically and in my head as well. So listen, be good to one another, be kind. It doesn't cost a dime to be kind to folks. Right. But there's always a price to be paid for cruelty. So be kind, love one another, try to lift each other up, support one another. And remember, life is too short to smoke bad cigars.
That's right.
And you heard it here. Cheers, everybody. One more for the good guys. I'll be gone in the morning before the sun comes up, with me and my weenie dog and my pickup truck. And either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find. I said, now either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find.